Right, hello everyone. Another episode of Lions Den Sport. Very pleased to have down Ian Johnson today. He's come down from near Gatwick, Hatram. Come down from all the way from your hometown to this podcast. I really much appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Ian, if you don't know, Ian's worked with some of the biggest boxing names in the world: Tyson Fury, Billy J. Saunders, Katie Taylor. We were just talking about that just a minute ago. And you're still working with like some of the coaches. I see you in the corner for like Shane McGuigan.
Yeah, I've got Shane's fighters. I do Shane's from Lawrence Okoli. Well, he was with Shane. I don't know what Lawrence is doing at the moment, but he's out in Dubai most of the time, I think. Daniel Dubois, Caroline Dubois, Chris Billham-Smith, Robbie Davis Jr.
All top talents, isn't
Yeah, and obviously the two young brothers. We've got Ellie Scotney. She's due for a world title soon. She's a legend, Ellie. I love that girl a bit. She's so good.
Yeah.
And then the two brothers, Hassan,
Yep.
and who I think, Adam Azim, within the next 12 months to be a world champion.
What's so special? Like, I had so much stuff about that kid.
His
What's so special about him?
reflexes, his variation of punches,
Mm.
and his freakish power for someone who's so tall and gets 10 stone into the frame. Reminds me of when Callum Smith first started. Everyone said, how can that boy be 6'2" and get that weight into that body? But freakish power, massive variation, and really good watching what's in front of him and picking the shots that he needs, you know. He's simple. He's punch, move, position, punch again. He doesn't stand still. He's not a target. He's not a punch bag, but freakish power, man.
Freakish power.
Yeah, but such a lovely family. Him and his brother and his dad and his mum and all the boys around him.
Do they all come to the gym?
Yeah, well, they come to the gym. I've not been to Shane's gym yet. I keep saying I'm going to go, but I'm busy myself. But on fight week, you see them all there, and they're absolute great. It's a great setup with Barry and Jake, and then Shane and Josh, which are two lovely kids.
Josh is from this end?
Josh
is from Portsmouth.
Bournemouth, isn't
No,
he?
Portsmouth.
Portsmouth, is he? Yeah, lovely kid, Josh Pritchard. Could have been a good fighter, very good fighter.
What happened with
I
Josh?
think he had an eye injury, I think.
Yeah.
But, he's a lovely lad, and Shane's very technical, very calm, and it's good being around these kind of people that you've got to stay calm. You can't show too much, hysteria or panic. But, yeah, very good. And I work with other fighters, but, yeah, I'm very lucky. Feel very blessed that I've got where I've got for someone who's left school with nothing and got to where I am.
Do you reckon, just going back to Adam Azim, because he's obviously someone who's up and coming, do you reckon he's one of the best talents you've seen?
Him and Dennis McCann, I think, are two of the best talents.
Him and Dennis McCann. Do you work with Dennis McCann as well?
No. He's with Al Smith and Eddie Lamb.
Oh, yes, they are. Yeah, he's with Archie Sharp and all that crew down there, aren't they? So, do you reckon he can go all the way?
Adam?
Yeah. All the way?
Without a shadow of a doubt.
And how do you compare him to someone, because he's a big idol of someone like Amir Khan?
Yeah, Amir Khan and him get on well when they're around. He just reminds me a little bit more, but not with the flashiness of Prince Nassim Hamed, because he just little twitches and little moves. He's a bit like Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly's got them simple moves and very sharp reflexes, you know. So he's very quick. He picks his shots, good variation of shots.
And he seems strong. I was very impressed with his victory against... Who did he fight? Rylan. Tough fighter. He fought all the way up at light middle, didn't he?
Yeah.
At welterweight.
Yeah.
And how he stopped him in the second round.
I think he's had, 7 fights now, 6 knockouts, not gone past round 2. And his first fight went points, but after that, learning to sit on his shots. He's got a good technical coach, hasn't he, with Shane and Josh, and they just get you to sit on his shots a bit more. They turn the shoulder over. Next thing you know, it's horizontal hold. Good night, Vienna.
Yeah, and obviously you can obviously whack. But I want to go back to you as well, Ian. Just back to you. How did you? Obviously, you said that you left school without any GCSEs and stuff.
Yeah, I got nothing. I left school, I think, with 1 grade 5 physics with chemistry or something. I don't know, but I was more of a Herbert as a youngster, as a street person. My mum and dad split up at a young age. My mum met another man who became my stepfather. And listen, he done me proud, same as my mum did. My dad was still involved, and I used to like boxing because on my 7th birthday, May 21st, 1966, Ali Cooper fought for the second time, and I'd been on all week. Could I listen to it on the radio? And my mum always said to me, if you're good, you can sit up and listen to it. So being my dad was always talking about the boxing. He liked the boxing.
Did your dad box at all?
No, he was in the army. He was in the catering corps, but he liked to fight outside, but a bit like me. But I never ever put a boxing glove on or signed anything for an amateur club. Never got carded, but I loved being around it. So I used to go and help at clubs, especially I went down to a club in Sussex. And they had a coach, an Irish coach, very old school, very, very sergeant major military. And when you're young and you're learning, you make mistakes.
Yeah.
Instead of being told where I was going wrong and what I was doing with the coaching and helping, he would slate me. He would batter me. And in the end, after about 9 months, I said, you know what? I'm going to go away, do my own thing. I don't need to be shouted down like I'm a piece of dirt on someone's shoe. So what I done was I went away, looked things up, worked things, and he actually probably done me a favour, because now it doesn't matter what I do in the future. I've done and been on shows, some of the biggest shows there are ever, you know. So
What sort of things did he do? Like
just made me feel very small in front of the kids I was teaching and helping with, you know, because listen, I was new at it.
Yeah.
But that's what it is, and that's. I still say it goes on today, but today it can be a little bit more aggressive and, racial. People, you know.
Today?
Yeah, you hear it sometimes in some of the gyms. You know, I don't think they say it with the malice, but it can be said, you know.
Yeah.
But he just put me down, made me feel like small. So I just went away, learnt a little bit, and then started working in 1996 with Matchroom, and that's where I've been. Plus, I've done stuff for the former Liverpool promoter John Hyland, who had Monroe Highland Promotions, had Johnny Armour, Colin Dunn, Gary Lockett, you know, and obviously with Boxer I'm working with now. I've done Frank Warren before, 1 or 2 shows, and Kelly Maloney, who was then Frank Maloney.
Yeah. So you mentioned Matchroom, which I'm going to get back to, because I believe you started off as a driver there.
Yeah, correct.
How did that come about?
I was travelling the country watching boxing, and it was, God knows, can't remember what year it was, but it was 1996, I think it was, 1996, yeah. I went to watch a good kid who I thought was going to go places, a young kid called Richie Yvette from Coventry, the Fen Tiger. After Dave Boy Green, who was the original Fen Tiger, he was Richie Yvette from Coventry. And I went to watch him fight at Mansfield Leisure Centre. And also on that show was Steve Robinson. And I went to the tea up, got a cup of tea in the sports centre. And I said, cup of tea, please. And the guy went, you ain't from around here. I went, no, I'm from Surrey. He went, oh, so am I. I went, oh, right, okay. He went, whereabouts? I said, I live in Redhill. He said, oh, I'm only in Malden. I said, oh, nice. I said, what's your name? He said, I'm the MC, John McDonald. And I went, oh, nice to see you, blah, blah, blah. And we got talking. He said, what are you doing Saturday? I went, going to the boxing. He said, what, the Matchroom show? I went, yeah. He said, do you want to drive me? He said, because I've always got to drive myself or get a train. He said, but you want to go, bob on. And the next thing, that was it. We went like that for a few months. Then I got more involved, and God blessed me that him and the other guy, John Wishusen, who's now with Boxer, was at Matchroom. They liked me. They got me to do bits and pieces, and then I went away and learnt for the courses, and bosh, that was it. Away we go.
Involved in so you always said that you go to the boxing shows. What made you go to all these boxing shows?
Well, my dad used to talk about boxing, and I like boxing. I went to see Dave Boy Green and Henry Riney at the Royal Albert Hall. Enjoyed that, and like I said, I wanted to listen to Cooper and Ali, 21st May 1966, because my dad had been talking about it. And I just used to travel. We used to go to Southend to watch people like Georgie Smith, Gary Delaney, Mark Delaney, Jason Ratcliffe, you know, Terry Roberts and his brother, you know, and that's it. All local shows, like, you know, around the southeast, and sometimes I went north, and
wow. So you're a really proper fan. You'll travel all around the world.
Because you see it today, and I'm not knocking them, but you see people go, just say, for instance, like, I don't know, Dennis McCann. Oh, we're going to watch Dennis. Oh, he's the main event. Well, they all go into the bar and have a drink. Well, I used to sit there with a notepad, and I used to have cards or programs. So I used to write down good fighter, blah blah blah, bad fighter, could do this, could do that. So over the years, I could see how they progressed. You know.
It's quite interesting. Did you never think about going into coaching? I know you did
But
a little bit of coaching.
But I did, and then I got my trainer second license, and I did train fighters. I trained. I don't go looking for them, and I'll tell you why I don't go looking for them. If I go looking for fighters, that will take up more time for me in my business, which I do personal training and coaching anyway. Because if you take someone like I had Nicky Genman from Brighton.
You had 2 boxers, didn't you?
Yeah, and Luke Pearson.
That's it.
All right, and it's no disrespect to them, but Nick used to travel an hour and a half from Brighton on a bad day, train with me every day, Monday to Friday, but have say Wednesday off in the middle, and then come up one day at the weekend. And that used to take time away from what? Because if you do say for instance, Nick was doing a 6-round fight, he might get $2,000. Yeah, $2,000. So the 10% the trainer gets out of $2,000 over 8 weeks, it's not a lot. And I was actually losing money, you know. And Luke stayed with me for 9 years, 8-9 years as a kid learning on. Then I got him trained up, and people helped him in the corner on the white collar shows and Queensbury with Ross Minter and Alan Foley. And I thought, you know what? How can I keep doing all these hours and losing money? I've got to earn a living, you know, because I was with the post office until I had a serious road accident back in 2001, and then I had to start earning money, so I had to go the other way, and I wasn't like getting a wage every week. I was just getting what I was getting from Nick or Luke. So you know, you got to think about it, get your priorities right. Yeah. And now I still train people personally, but I don't go looking for fighters to train professionally, because I've got a good business going, and I've still got the cutman's work that I do.
I think it's great what we just gone to, but I think there's a big chunk we've missed about your earlier life as well, which I'm quite intrigued about. Is you mentioned the post office. You're at the post office, and you're obviously in an accident, fortunately, that happened there. Well, when you decided that you weren't going to do boxing at a young age, I think 9 or something, what did you do after then?
I played football.
You played football?
I was a goalkeeper, yeah.
Did you play professional?
No. I had trials for different clubs. I used to play locally in Red Hill for South Park, Woodhatch. A very good friend of mine I played for as my daughter's godfather, Bill Gardner. He had a football team. Bill Gardner's well known because he was a big West Ham fan, and he used to travel the country with West Ham. But he's a nice guy. I get on really well with him still now. But I used to play in goal for his team. Football was my thing. And then I started to play darts. My dad was a big dart player, get into the pub scene. And then from a slim lad, I went up to 21 stone 10. I blew up.
Hey, what was that for?
Drink and food. Yeah, I wasn't playing football then. You know, it's from about 16, 17 onwards, upwards, and I just became bigger and bigger.
What made you turn to drink and food?
Because I didn't really have a lot else going on in my life. I'd stopped playing football. I wasn't enjoying it so much. And then I went to the pub and met my dad's mates, and we played darts, you know, and stuff like that. And that was it. You know, I'm glad I stopped drinking. I didn't ever really smoke. I had the odd cigar, a bit like my dad. But no, drinking was something that was a culture, you know. Yeah. When you grow up, you find out about alcohol, you find women, and then some things take your dirt track away from what you wanted to maybe possibly do. Because when I was a kid, I wanted to be a policeman.
Oh, really?
But I wasn't intelligent enough. I would never pass the exams.
It's quite. I was speaking to a boxer. Do you remember Chris Senegal?
Yeah, Chris Senegal from Bristol, and his son.
Oh, I can't remember his son's name. Jamie, that's it. So Chris Senegal said a really interesting story similar to yourself. He was a really good boxer.
He was a good, yeah.
He was a good pro, and then he sort of when he sort of turned to drink as well during the time in his life that he needed to, or that unfortunately, but he went down, and he talks about how he found religion to, you know, get him out of that.
Well, we'll come to that in a little bit as well.
I'm definitely keen to come into that. But what age did you start drinking, and what age is it that you sort of stopped?
Oh, when I stopped playing football or lost interest in football at about 15, 16. soon as I started being able to go into the pub with my dad, because I learnt to count on a dartboard.
Oh,
I used to chalk. I used to do the
Yeah.
chalking, sit on a
Oh.
stool or stand by the and do the. That's
Yeah,
how I
yeah.
learnt.
That's a great skill. You never
You know?
thought. People never
And you
think of
know
that.
what? My kids used to travel to the boxing with me up and down the country, and they learnt the police alphabet from cars. So I used to go to my Aaron or Kerry. What's that registration? Oh, Golf Victor 1-2 Hotel Uniform Yankee, and that's how they learnt that. And it was a thing we used to do up and down the motorway.
Yeah.
Madness.
What a brilliant way to learn, huh?
Yeah, but I used to love chalking at darts because the men didn't used to like it when the big lads they wanted, yeah, we're here for the darts and the beer. But I was like 14, 15. Then I'd have a pint of half a bottle of Guinness or a pint of Guinness or a bottle of lager, and it's just got that, you know, and that's how it goes. Yeah, and before you know it, you put on weight. After this, the viewers won't see it, but I'll show you a picture of me when I was 21, 10, and you're going to look at it and you're going to go, that isn't you.
Yeah.
You facially, you will not recognise it.
Really?
Gospel honest truth.
Wow. So what age did you realise that you need to change your habits and your life?
Probably 25.
25. So you went a good 10 years.
Yeah, good 10 years. I didn't put loads of weight on straight away, but over the 10-year
Gradual.
period,
Yeah.
I put on weight.
Yeah.
You know, I had 2 failed marriages. I don't regret them. I got 4 lovely children out of it. You know, Lee and Gareth from my first marriage, and Aaron and Kerry from my second. And then only 9 years ago, I met someone and I remarried again and took on her daughter and her son, Abby and Jimmy. And I'm happy as Larry now, happy as a man could be. But you know what? You grow up. Sometimes you don't. I used to love my football. I used to go to Tottenham. I was a big Spurs fan. Used to get in a few issues there. And then when the kids started coming along, and I started to have to build a family and some foundations financially, I thought, this has got to stop. And he did. But I always liked the boxing. I always used to read books and look at Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Robinson, Jake LaMotta, people like that. I still do. I still listen. I read, but I don't read very well. From the time I read what's on the book to it gets to my head and then I try to remember it, it changes. So audio, all the way down here, I'll be listening to audio. All the way when I do my motorways, I listen to audio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to get into that audio. Do you know what I like? Listen, you know, I like switching off and listening to music. But I think audio, you can take on so much knowledge when you're driving as well. Yeah. And even if you do 20 minutes in the morning or whenever you're driving, you can take in so much information that way. And I've got a short memory span.
Exactly.
So
that's the thing. From there to there, it will change. So you listen to it and you take it in a lot better.
Hey, how long do you spend listening to it?
Well, I've done the hour and 20 minutes coming down here. And when I drove to, what was the last one? When I drove to Manchester for Eubank Smith, I done 4 hours of a book going up and 4 hours of a book coming up back. Some are boxing, some are autobiographies. Harry Redknapp. Some are football.
We don't like Harry Redknapp round here. That is
but it's a very interesting book. Barry Hearn's book was a great book to listen to. But also things like Mark Chester from Stoke, the Naughty 40s football, you know, things like that. I listen to different football clubs. I'm listening to Cass Pennants now at the moment, but I can't really tell you what it is because it's not very nice. It's called something rude on the front of the cover, but it's listen that you used to see it and hear about it on the telly and the paper, but when you listen to it, you know, it's interesting. I find them interesting. Mafia stuff. I love gangster stuff.
What stuff do you like?
I like The Godfather.
Yeah,
I like listening to different Godfathers that there has been, you know, like Al Capone and people like that.
Have you seen the films?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, love the films. Yeah. Love the films of those. So you said, just going back again, you said 25. You obviously stopped your drinking and stuff, which is great. What did you do after then? I still
worked. Obviously, I mean,
what was it in the post office you worked?
No, from 1976 to 1985, I worked for the NHS. I worked at Red Hill Hospital, Farmfield Hospital, Cane Hill, mental handicap hospitals and general hospitals. as a ground person doing the drains and the gardens and general handyman, which was a good time. And then I went into the post office in 85 to 2001 when I had the accident. I was with the post office, yeah. But I was doing boxing at weekends and that.
So you're going to shows and you're still doing your cut. Yeah. And what sort of people were you working when you were working at the post office?
Good people. I loved them. They were great friends.
No, on the weekends when you were going to shows, what sort of fighters were you looking after then?
I was travelling with Matchroom.
You were going with Matchroom, of course.
Were doing. Yeah. I mean, I got a call one day from John McDonald. Jumbo, what are you doing? Why? I've got a problem. I said, okay, what's the problem? We need someone picked up from Luton. And then I was doing a thing with the Royal Mail called Sky Bags, where you'd go to the airport, pick up lost luggage and take them to the homes. And I went, what do you want, John? He went, we got a kid coming in from Belgium called Jean-Claude Douay, the Magic Man. He's a cut man. I went, brilliant. I went, I don't feel well. He went, good. Can you go sick? So I went sick. Because I was in the office, took a phone call in the office, went sick, and I went to Luton, picked him up, and I drove him up to Liverpool to work a show at Wigan or Widnes. Colin Dunn was on it, and Johnny Armour, and Paul Burke. Do you remember Paul Burke from Liverpool? Good fighter, yeah. Paul Burke. Done that, and then I took him back. They got me a room, and I took him back the next day. I even went and worked at, done some stuff for them when they had the one in the park with Shane Neary and Andy Holligan when they had the big tent, like the big circus tent in Everton Park. Yeah. Yeah. So I used to do things like that. And a bit naughty, but I'm 64 this year. I don't care. I can't do nothing about it now, can I?
It's all there for you. Yeah, that's true. It's always true now. And your cutman sort of stuff, how did that come about? How did you get involved in that?
Well, with Matchroom again.
Yeah. They gave you a lot of opportunities then.
Yeah. Listen, John Wishoes and Barry and even Eddie now. I mean, I don't see as much of Eddie because he has a lot all over the world. But when we do shows here and I'm working, I see him. John Wishoes, and after I had the accident, he came to see me in hospital and said, like, once you're up and about again, he said, we'll look for some more stuff for you. So when I come out, I wanna like get into it even more. So I did, and he said, we've got some foreign boys coming over. He said, will you look after them, do their hands, do the cuts? I said, yeah. So one of the first guys I looked after was a fella, two guys, one called Joseph Matocci. He was from Hungary. He was with Laszlo Verish from Budapest. And someone who went on to fight Golovkin called Jegos Proksa.
Oh, okay.
He was European champion eventually. And then obviously Albert Sosnowski. I worked his corner when he fought Vitaly Klitschko in Essen in Germany. And other Polish kids. So I got a lot of foreign fighters. And then I started picking up more and more work.
Just from people knowing you and
seeing me.
Yeah.
And when you're at a show regularly, I can go to a show and do one fighter, but I can pick up 3 or 4 others. I mean, even like when Nathan Cleverly, we went to Vegas to fight Badu Jack on the undercard of McGregor Mayweather.
Oh, he got beat then, didn't he?
Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor, and Nathan got beat. We went to Germany, New Brandenburg, just before that, to fight Jürgen Bremer. Won there, and then we got the Badu Jack. Yeah, we lost to Badu Jack. Got talking to Badu Jack, really nice fella. And he said to us, come to our barbecue tomorrow. We're having a big barbecue afterwards. We went, we can't, we got a flight. So gutted. Now, I didn't see him from then until I was in Saudi Arabia when Joshua fought Usyk the second time. And I was working with Filip Hrgović.
Yes.
And Badu Jack's.
That was an interesting fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Yang, well, he's got Joe Joyce in front of him next. I think Joe will beat him. Yeah. He said, Jumbo. And I, hello. He went, listen, you here? Yeah. Can you do us a favour? Will you do Badu's corner? I said, of course I will. And 2 nights ago, what's today, Friday? Tuesday night, I got a text from his trainer manager fella. Are you available for Saudi to do his one against Makabu for the WBC? And he said, tell me what you want, what. So I gave him a price. I haven't heard back from him, but it takes a few days' time. They talk to each other and find out what the flights could be and that.
Yeah.
So, I've got recognised through that, and that's good.
Amazing. How was the McGregor Mayweather atmosphere?
It was crazy.
Was it?
But they're very strict out there with where you can go and when you can't go. So, changing rooms, and that's where you can sit and watch it if you want it. But we actually stayed in the change room because it was so chaotic out there.
Really?
It was a good week though, with the press and all the all the bits and pieces. It was interesting.
Yeah. So it's surprising that they don't have a few seats for you to go out and watch it. Because in the UK shows, it would normally, wouldn't they?
I'll give Boxer. I think Matchroom started doing it as well. But Boxer, after the show, they say, look, these are the seats that you can sit in if you want to sit. When they give them tickets and they do sit them, they're not always good seats, but they're still there.
Yeah.
So it's good. Yeah.
And then you did the Usyk and Joshua 2 fight. Hey, or you were there for Buddy Jack, weren't you?
Yeah, Buddy Jack, Filip Hrgovic, Ben Whitaker. I done as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, there, and I done an American guy that was with Buddy Jack's lot. So yeah, I done 4 there. I mean, obviously I done Hrgovic, Tom Little, and 2 others out in Jeddah when they fought Ruiz.
Tom Little fought out there as well, did he?
Oh.
But how was the atmosphere for the Usyk Joshua 2?
Excellent.
Was that good as well?
It was good atmosphere.
How about the fight?
I thought he really conducted himself better than he did the first fight. It was a good fight, but there was only one winner. He
stepped it up in the 8th, 9th, 10th.
Yeah, the championships round 10, 11, 12, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And what do you reckon the sort of Joshua speech at the end?
My own honest opinion, I don't think his team helped him. As soon as he picked that mic up, I think they should have just said, stop.
Someone stop.
What are you going to say? Don't rant and rave. Derek Chisora was the only one in there really trying to get him away and get him out.
Yeah. I guess the other people, they work for him, don't they? It's difficult.
It is difficult, but I think someone could have stepped up and done something a bit better.
Where do you think he goes from now?
Well, he's supposed to be fighting April the 1st, isn't he?
Against
one of his old sparring partners,
is he Dillian White?
No, Franklin.
That's it.
Franklin. It'll be a tough fight, but I always say this. You can say so much about what fights you want, but until they're in the ring squaring off together, it could easily go pear-shaped.
Yeah.
It could easily be cancelled.
Well, we saw that between the Eubank and Eubank Connor fight was, but the Eubank Smith fight.
Smith, yeah.
Were you doing the Smith corner? Or were you doing?
No, I didn't do either of them corners.
Oh, but you went there, right?
I was there. I was working on the undercard. I had Chris Congo.
Oh yeah, that was a cracking fight as well.
Fight, yeah.
Very good fight. Yeah. But what did you make out of the main event?
Honestly,
Eubank
Smith. I didn't see it ending like that.
I didn't see it ending like that.
I thought it'd be points either way, possibly, but I didn't see it happening.
It was surprising how much people writ Smith off though. Just because I think he was moving up in weight, and he's 34. People looked at his age and all this against him. But
age brings experience.
Yeah,
experience brings knowledge in many, many departments. And one thing you can't overlook with the Smith family is the knowledge that they all have. You think Paul, Stephen, Liam, Callum, they got a lot of experience in between them. And they work well. They really get on well as brothers as well. They're all there 100%. And now he's with Declan and Joe in Liverpool as well, training. So he's got a good little camp there, Declan and Joe. Now they're getting some good fighters. Yeah.
Whereas it seemed Eubank was by himself, wasn't he? In this good, like he don't have that knowledge and experience. He had Roy Jones, and he had who's the experienced coach he's got in his corner?
He's got Ronnie Davis.
Ronnie Davis,
and he's always had Anthony Brown, with him as well. He's had him for years.
But does he listen to those guys?
I think anyone will tell you this. I think Chris does what Chris wants to do. I get on all right with him. I've been down, wrapped his hands. I've done one of his corners when he fought James DeGale, and he was nice enough to me. But I think Chris does what Chris wants, even though he said, Roy Jones this, Roy Jones that. I don't know if he does listen. You don't know what goes inside people's heads. Are they actually listening? I can look into your eyes and talk to you, and are you actually listening to it? I don't know that, do I?
It's true. You can look the most enthusiastic person listening, but are you actually listening?
That's the same. Like I try to say to people with the mental health, because I work with a lot of Down syndrome, autistic, Parkinson's kids come in, and people that have got mental health issues that they need to get some anger and stress out. And we could be talking here nicely, and I don't know how you are when you get at home inside your four walls. I haven't got a clue, and you don't have a clue about me. So, you know, that's what I try to say to my boys and girls that when they come in, I've had such a... Well, talk to me. I'm at the end of the phone. If you want to talk, talk. And any of them tell you, I offer myself out that if you want to talk, I might not have the right answers and I might not know what I'm talking about, but I'll always be there for you to like shout and scream and get your anger out. You've got to be. You've got to talk about things.
That's that's, I guess,
and
if you've got a coach like that, it's you're very fortunate.
But
to have
also,
like
if you were my boy and you come into the gym one day and you look down, all right, and I'll put my arm around you and say, "What's the matter, mate? Wait, tell me, talk to me." "Oh, mate, I had a bad sleep last night. I feel really down." But I said, "Tell you what, take today's your rest day. Go home, get some more sleep, and we're rest day tomorrow. We'll have it today and we'll work tomorrow." You know, I don't know your body. I don't know what's aching. I don't know how you're feeling. You tell me. If you don't talk to me, I can't help you in any way, shape, or form.
Do you reckon that's what the male sort of side of things? They've got problems talking about whatever issues and stuff they got.
I think men have egos that they don't want to talk about. There's things, you know.
Are you quite comfortable opening up and talking about? Have you opened up?
Yeah, I lost my sister at 23 to a very rare form of meningitis. I needed counselling. I went and had to speak to someone, and it helped me. Then I lost a very good friend of mine called Pete Barton. He was he used to travel the country with me, help me with the boxing and help me in my gym. And he hung himself, and that was hard work. That was very hard work. So I went to see someone then, and it helped me. And then I lost my dad through bowel cancer, and my dad was special to me. But as much as I love my dad, he was never as special as my mum. I think you're always mummy's little boy or daddy's little girl. And when my mum died, I needed help. But I won't go into too many details, but the hardest one was definitely my grandson, who died at the age of 8. That was the toughest one, and that was the hardest one to talk about. But my stepfather, he's been so good in that respect that he's, you know, and my wife, they said you had to talk, and we had to do it by phone or Zoom then because of lockdown.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is good. People need to take what's out there to help them.
Is it that you wouldn't do it yourself? Was it people encourage you to talk, or did you know within you that I knew
I had to do it,
yeah.
and I kept saying I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, and then things just got harder. My sister dying was, I knew I had to, and I went and done it. My dad, the same. But my mum, I knew I had to do it, but it was just hard to get to do it. I just couldn't. I wouldn't go into a flat for months and months and months. I wouldn't go into a flat, and it took me probably 2 years before I went through her stuff to get it sorted. And the same with my grandson. Even though he isn't my son, my son suffered badly, and I think they're still suffering now. I don't think they'll ever get over it. I don't know how parents get over burying children at a young age, and I don't think it should ever happen. But for some reason, the good Lord decides that it happens, and it happens. And my stepfather chased me and my wife to sit and talk to someone on the phone, and I fucking had something like 10 sessions, and it's better. Listen, I still get days where I hear a song that my mum, and I cry. You're never too big to admit you cry. You know, my dad's records, his country stuff, my mum, Tom Jones, stuff like that. My sister, Lionel Richie. You know, there's certain songs that will bring back, trigger, you know. Yeah, certain things.
And you said you're a faithful man. You religion.
Listen, I always had some church, something going in me. Because when we were kids, me and my sister used to go to the Salvation Army. But I never knew what it was I wanted or what I was looking for. So going back a few years, I met 2 fighters called Christopher Evangelou and his brother, Andrea. Now, their dad was an archbishop of the ACC in Edmonton, the Apostolic Christian Church. And he said to me, look, if you feel you've got some kind of persona, go to some different churches. He said, and when you've been there, come to mine and see how you feel. So I went to 2 or 3 different churches, didn't quite find what I wanted. So I went to his church in Edmonton, and I don't go as much as I should because of work, but I do sometimes watch online because they have it online, but I do go up there every now and again. and I was happy because it's more like a brotherly love Christian down south church, a good singing, you know, real vibrant, you know, and it's not rammed down your throat like you would do in a normal church. He's more outgoing with things, and it's done just a little bit different. And when I had my crash in 2001, I woke up with a pair of rosary beads given to me by someone from a church who's Catholic, and they were blessed, and I wore them until they broke last year. But I still got another set here. My wife bought me.
What are they, just beads?
Yeah, just rosary beads. Yeah, but the wooden ones I had were a little bit different. So yeah, I believe there's something out there. I believe that if I, every now and again, not all the time, because I can't lie. I don't preach it and don't push it down people's throat, but I do pray. But I pray when I feel I need to pray. Some days I feel good, some days I feel bad, and I'll have a little pray. But you know, I'm not going to say I'm the best churchgoer. I'm not going to say I'm the best religious person, because I'm not. Yeah. I'll be lying to you. So it is what it is. But I have beads on photos at home. You know, I have my mum, my dad, my sister, all tattooed on my body. My grandchildren's dates of birth, my children's dates of birth, my great-grandchildren's dates of birth. I'll always have them on me, so they're with me all the time. You know? My mum and my sister are in this ring. They put the ashes in that and made a ring for me, so I've always carried them two people with me.
Wow.
So I'm blessed in some ways. You know?
You are. So that's amazing. How about now? You said you're doing coaching. You got a boxer. Is it a boxing club you've got?
No, I rent a space in a gym, and I train people there from the ages of 8 upwards. I've got people up as high age as 70, and they come
up to 70.
And we just vary the training to the levels they're at: age, weight, experience. You know. But some people I get in want to fight. Some of them I've sent away afterwards and gone to amateur clubs and doing really well now. Some don't want to go amateur because when they split the Alliance and the England boxing, it was very difficult sometimes to get fights because there was less people because they were all under one banner at one time.
Yeah, I remember.
So some people don't. They want to go onto the white collar. So I've had people go onto the white collar. Luke was on the white collar on the Queensbury. And then he went pro. He was with me, and then now he's down at Guildford ABC with Johnny Edwards.
Johnny Edwards, that's it.
And some others fight on things like the boys up at the Prism nightclub in Kingston, Ring King. You know, the guys there do a great show. They do it properly. They do the trials, look at you, match you, weight, experience, etc. And the events are very good and very entertaining.
I went to one recently. I was doing the commentating for one, and I was really impressed with the professionalism of it.
Oh,
yeah, it was my first white collar show, and you all hear loads of bad stuff about white collar, like you could be fighting someone with 100 fights and you've had one fight, or the weights don't match up, but every fight was quite, apart from the last one, it was really even fights. So I was really impressed.
This is what sometimes winds me up with the ultimate white collar stuff they do for charity.
Okay.
I don't think that's a good thing. You know, they raise money for charity,
but they take their cuts out of it first. Is that right?
I think they take a big cut out of it. I believe anyway, but I'm not 100% sure. No. But I've had a girl that fought on one, and she said, they said to her, you can't fight because you're a stone over the weight of that girl. She went, all right, maybe the next one. Then she was a stone over the weight. They couldn't find anybody. Then they went, we got you a match. So she said, okay, great. So she went to the show, looked at the girl, said, she's a bit big. Anyway, I had to fight, got a draw. And then after the show, she said to her, like, well done, you know, you're big for the weight, aren't you? She said, yeah. And she told her weight, and she went, you're 6.5 kilos heavier than me. You're just over a stone bigger than me. And the next day, she thought, I'm a bit sore. Went to the doctors, and she'd got problems with her vertebrae in her neck. And when they put the pictures up, they cut her out of it and just had the one girl as the winner.
Really?
Now she's taken her like 10 to 12 weeks to get back to being able to do any kind of boxing, and now it's only just like tippy tap pat on the sticks, you know. And she's still having neck massages and seeing a chiro and all that, you know.
There's no insurance.
There's no insurance because you waiver, you sign a waiver, and you don't get, you know.
Yeah.
So, but it should be done better. It shouldn't have happened, and that's the dangerous thing with it.
Yeah, so as I said, Rinking doing quite good.
Yeah,
I was really impressed
very
with
impressive.
the work they got. They got a show coming up in April, I believe.
29th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you coming down to that?
I hope to if I'm not away because I sponsor it. You know, they said to me like, you know, if you want to get involved, I said in any way. I said, listen, I'll sponsor the trophies or the medals. So I've done that for the last 2 shows, and I'm doing this show as well. If I'm not away with boxing, I will come along. Yeah, I did the first one. I was away. I wasn't away, so I came and presented the trophies. Yeah.
Yeah. And you work quite closely with a friend of mine, Prosperity Studios. Did
He done
promo
a
video for you.
Promo video for me. Nice man, nice lad.
Yeah.
Very very easy going. Very amicably was willing to listen to what I wanted to do, but also put his bit over, and we got a good promo out of it. Yeah. Very nice lad.
He's doing great work in the boxing scene.
Yeah.
So hopefully he goes and grows his brand. You also mentioned about you do work with kids with similar backgrounds like
Down syndrome, autism.
Yeah.
But I've had guys with Parkinson's come in, you know, and stuff like that. So yeah.
Well, how did that come about? And
well, when I was at the old gym in Red Hill liked to box. The owner, Karen, she put out there that we were going to do some classes like this, and then some of the local authorities got in contact with us and said, look, we've got 2 Down syndrome kids and an autistic kid. Could you do anything with them? So we invited them in, and we done some pads with them, done some battle ropes, done some other stuff with them on the bags, such simple bits of stuff. And that went on. One of them, Henry Mansfield, I'd done him for over 10 years until COVID, and he hasn't been able to come back because they're still not 100% sure with allowances and grants and everything, you know, where they cut back. So haven't done anything for that for about a year now.
Oh, that's a shame. Hopefully in the future.
I still see his parents and always ask after him. So
yeah. Good. And what's next for you then? Yeah, what's
next for me? Next weekend, Adam Azim, Hassan, and
they're both out. Yes,
Caroline
on the boxer
Dubois,
show. Yeah.
On the boxer show. And then I go to Nottingham the following week to do Lee Wood against Lara.
Oh, that is some fight as well.
Listen, you got to take your hat off to Lee Wood after you know the fight with Mickey Conlon, which I thought was fight of the year, and it's a great show. And I actually thought that if it hadn't been for that knockdown and knockout at the end, I think Mickey would have won. And that's gospel honest truth. Yeah. Especially after the knockdown in the first, I thought it was all over. But so I'm going to be there doing that. And then hopefully if I get the job with Badu Jack, then out to Saudi. But after that, I've got the 11th of December with Robbie Davis Jr. 11th of December, 11th of March in Liverpool. And then Boxer are back in Liverpool on the 25th. So they're my next 3 or 4 bits.
He hasn't boxed for a while, Robbie Jr., has he? I don't think.
He boxed in Liverpool before and won by a stoppage.
Yeah.
And then he was out for a while. It's like same as Anthony Fowler. I mean, Anthony hasn't boxed for a while.
Yeah, it looks like he's putting some timber.
Yeah, I think he's been doing some weights. He's got a lot of other things going on, from what I understand. He's got business in there with the CBD oil, and also I think he's got property in Liverpool and stuff. Like he's no mug, you know. He's quite smart. Quite business smart.
Yeah. Well, but if you can earn an income from outside of boxing's a tough sport, right?
Yeah.
And he's done it since 8 or 9 years old, and he's had 200 amateur fights.
Takes some doing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. Hey, so you've got the Adam Azim one this weekend, and he's fighting an undefeated fight at 12-0, right?
Well, same as Caroline. She's stepping up, isn't she, against her lady as well?
Yeah.
So
Caroline's supposed to be really talented.
The last one in Bournemouth with that girl never been stopped. It's what you've got to have. First couple of fights, she was a bit timid, and then she's got more and more spiteful. You've got to have that little bit of killer instinct because they're coming to stop you and hurt you. So you've got to do it back. And she was awesome in Bournemouth. She was good. She was very spiteful.
Yeah, was she? Do you reckon she's naturally like that, or do you reckon it's a mindset switch that she?
I think there is a difference between the amateur and the pro game, but I think it was just believing in her own ability, and she's got this now with Shane as well and Josh, and they talk quite closely, so it's good.
Well, what do you reckon makes? Obviously, you haven't been to the gym for quite a while, so you don't see it day in day out. Well, what do you reckon makes Shane stand out? Because his success has just risen every time. He's always getting, he's getting good fighters, and he turned them into great fighters. Beginning of the career, like Josh Taylor. undisputed champion who's with him. Oh no, he didn't turn undisputed with him, but he got him to that level.
Yeah.
This Adam Azim, this Hassan.
He had Lee McGregor as well.
Lawrence Sakrani got him to a world champion.
When Lawrence was with Brian O'Shaughnessy, and he left Brian and then went to Shane, then you see the improvement. Shane seemed to be able to get him to use his abilities of his pluses, which are his height and his reach, and he can punch. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's same as Chris Billam-Smith. He's come on leaps and bounds now. You know, so Daniel Dubois. The last fight was a tough fight. He'd done his ACL or tore something in his leg, and he had to have a little op afterwards. You know, but he's come on as well.
It's amazing.
Ellie Scotney's a talented young lady.
She looks very skillful.
Very slick.
Yeah.
But I've been lucky because I've worked under Adam Booth for a while with some of his fighters, and he was interesting to learn from. Very calm. Shane's very calm, but Shane must have some kind of arms on him, because if you think, you go, when he was at his prime, he'd have Lawrence Okoli, Daniel Dubois, Chris Billam-Smith, Anthony Fowler, Robbie Davis Jr., Hassan, Adam, Ellie, and Caroline. 9 fighters. They all had to, if they were in camp, they all had to be padded every day. Wow. Well, most days.
He looks like, all of them look like it, but his arm just goes like that, doesn't it?
It's like he's getting whiplash all the time.
He needs to get those arms insured. That's what he needs to do.
Well, for sure.
Right, I'm just going to finish off with some quick fire questions for you.
Ooh, that's gone quick.
That is it. 50 minutes we've been in here.
50 minutes?
Yeah.
Wow.
So our time flies. So, with your man of your experience, this is going to be really interesting. I'm really eager to hear it.
Oh, help.
Here we go.
Help. Please give me time. There's no clock on this, is there?
You've got 30 seconds to answer. Best fight you've seen live?
Gatty Ward.
Were you at the Gatty Ward fight?
Yeah.
Which
Gatty
one?
Ward. One.
Were you at the first one?
One. Gatty Ward one.
Wow. Amazing. Best fighter you've been in the corner for?
So many.
Yeah, I know.
I'd have to say Katie Taylor.
Oh, yeah. Shit. Let's touch base. We haven't touched base on Katie Taylor. What an amazing ambassador for women's boxing. What she's done. But also,
what a kind person. Full stop.
Yeah.
She's just generally humble.
Yeah. Religious person as well. Deeply religious, isn't she? Yeah. And how are you still cornering her?
No more. I had from the time she turned pro until her last fight. They're doing a lot more with American team now. So obviously with Ross, her coach, and he's got a cutman, and they're supposed to be doing some stuff over there more. So I don't do America anyway. So listen, there's no harm. I'm happy.
Yeah. But yeah, her development in female boxing has been incredible. And you also were the first. Who was Jane Couch?
Jane Couch.
Did some work for Jane Couch as well, didn't you?
Worked out in American with her when she fought Jamie Clampett at Foxwood, Connecticut. Yeah. Won the world title, and Vinny Pazienza was commentating that night. I remember that. Yeah.
How do you reckon she would get on in this day and age in female boxing?
She's tough. She's not a geezer, but she's more like a geezer. You might as well think she is, because she can punch like a geezer.
Really?
But she is a lovely person, Jane. An absolute lovely person.
Love to get you on the podcast soon, Jane. Definitely.
Yeah, Jane. I'll tell you what. If you get through to Jane and you can get hold of her, she'd definitely do it.
Yeah, I love
because she'll have some stories that you've never heard before.
Really?
I'm telling you.
Amazing.
She could tell you some that we were in Foxwood with. Oh man, she's the kind of person that was that. It was great. It was great. All good, but yeah, good.
All life stories, right?
Yeah.
All good. Now. Best atmosphere you've ever witnessed or you've been around?
A boxing show. I would say Joshua Klitschko.
Wembley. Yes. Whoa. You were there as well?
Yes.
That was special.
That was good.
I'm trying to think of anyone tops that. Did you go to Carnbrook?
Yes, I went to Carnbrook.
What do you reckon the atmosphere? Do you remember that one?
It was good, but it wasn't at 90,000.
90,000 level. Yeah, you had everyone off their seat for that one to fight, didn't you?
Yeah. That was Grove Swatch was a good atmosphere, but I think Joshua Klitschko beat it.
What, the first one or the second one?
I was at both.
Were you at both?
The Wembley one was a good atmosphere, but Joshua Klitschko.
I'll have to go with that one. Worst cut you've had to deal with?
Ryan Burnett, world title against Lee Haskins. Second round. He had the zigzag in the head. Yeah.
Do you remember that cut Badu Jack got?
Badu Jack had one like it, probably a little bit worse, but them big ones are good to get the adrenaline in and get to. Yeah.
And how'd you deal with something like that?
Do you know what? He came back to the corner, Ryan, and Adam Booth said to him, "That's a bad cut, Ryan. You've got to win the next 2 or 3 rounds if we get to the fourth, blah, 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 blah." And I didn't say anything. I tried to stay as calm, but Adam was good with him. Like he was truthful with him. I wouldn't have told him. I would have just said, "Look, go out there and box him." But anyway, Adam's the coach, so open it, adrenaline in, squeeze it, Vaseline it, central nervous system at the back of the neck, keep it ice cold so that in between rounds it slows that flow of blood down. The cold compress, treat it cold, and 2 rounds. Boss, it was done, and then Ryan went on to be world champion, and then he beat Ricky Hatton's guy after that as well.
Yes,
I can't remember his name, so I can't pronounce it.
I think it's Uzbekistani fight or something like that.
Yeah.
Something from there.
Went,
Unfortunately, he retired quite young, didn't he?
Yeah, he had bad injury, didn't he, Ryan, with his neck and that.
Yeah.
But he had to have plastic surgery. That's the worst cut I've dealt with. The worst cut I've seen was in Wolverhampton Civic Hall. Marcus Portman fought the Hungarian kid, Joseph Matocci, and he got a really bad cut on the eye. And when he come back to the corner, I plugged it, took it off, and it went spurt. And I just looked over at Ian John Lewis, and he come and had a look. Didn't even get a chance to work on it. It's the only one I've ever had like that I've never been able to stop or get them through.
Did you manage to see the fighter afterwards? Have you seen him since?
Yeah. 16 internal, 16 external, plus plastic surgery.
Hey, can you still see it on his...
You can still see the scar, yeah. But I think Klitschko's cut was bad against Lewis as well.
Oh, where he got stopped, the eye injury. Were you at that fight as well?
No, I wasn't at that one, no.
That was a really bad
My mentor who taught me the game was Lennox Lewis cutman, Al Gavin from Bethpage, New York.
Oh, do you still speak with him?
No, he's passed, God bless him, but I still speak to his son down in Florida. Yeah. But I went out to the States, just sat with him and talked to him and followed him around, went to the Golden Gloves in the theatre and done bits with him, and just, he looked after me, gave me some good tips, and I was very blessed again that he was good enough to let me do it. I paid my own way because he was Mickey Ward's cutman.
Got you.
So, yeah.
That's how you got to see that fight and you got to witness that. Yeah. And what a person to learn from. He must have been quite high regarded.
He was known cutman to the stars. You can look him up, Al Gavin. He was an excellent man.
Hey, how did that come about? How did you get to know him and tell him to?
Because I met him over here when he was over here. So.
And you said, "Can I?"
No, I just said we got talking about cuts. I said I'm doing cuts, but I need to. And he said, "Listen, if you come to New York any time," he said, "I'll help you out and talk you through things and look after you." And gospel as his word, he did.
Amazing. Best up and coming fighter you've seen?
Adam Azim.
Really? Okay. Tyson Fury or Usyk?
Tyson Fury. I think he's too big, too long, and other than Muhammad Ali, he's probably the biggest and best heavyweight I've seen for footwork.
Wow.
I think he'll have the skill and the ability.
And
then if Usyk comes in, he will tie him up and make it look messy and well. Because if you think back to Lennox Lewis, David Tua, everyone said, Tua's going to give him problems. But Lewis won that fight off the jab. Pop, pop, pop. When he come in, tied him up, break, back on the jab. Break, back on the jab. Yeah. And I think Fury can do that to Usyk.
Do you think?
Yeah.
I think you're right about that. I think about tying up. I think you're right. He needs to get on top of him and just lean on him.
Yeah, let him take.
Because having that big man on you is tough. But Usyk's really good about evading it.
But I just think he's got the skill going from orthodox to southpaw, just messing him about. Yeah, that's what I believe. I might be wrong.
I can see your point of view. So recently we saw I'm going to pronounce it wrong, but Beterbiev beat Yard.
Yeah.
Beterbiev or Bivol?
Bivol. Again, the way Bivol boxed with Canelo, I think he can do exactly the same again with Berbatov.
And last one, potentially, hopefully it happens, Joshua and Dillian White. 2.
I don't know. That's a toughie. Because I think Joshua isn't quite what he was. I don't think Dillian's quite what he was.
True, yeah.
And I thought the Franklin fight was really close with Dillian. I think with aggression, I think possibly Dillian.
Really? Wow. Wow, you think? Yeah.
He's got something to prove.
Yeah.
Again, I might be wrong. But
he needs to, doesn't he? But I just think I was really disappointed with Dillian White when he fought Tyson Fury.
So was I.
I thought
he didn't look right walking to the ring.
He didn't look. He looked nervous.
Same as Joshua didn't look right walking to the ring with Ruiz. first time.
Bruges, yeah, he looked.
I was there for that because I had Josh Kelly on that one, and he looked nervous, looked like he'd had a panic attack or a little bit of anxiety or something, you know.
Yeah, like his head was down. Normally, it's up, smiling at the crowd. Yeah, he didn't look right in that fight. Nor did Chris Eubank Jr. He had something. He didn't have that aura about him that he normally does.
Yeah.
So you can learn a lot about a fighter walking into the ring, can't you?
You can.
You can learn a lot
Like you can look in people's eyes and you can see, can't you?
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't know, but that's what they say. But I'd like to thank you for inviting me down.
Ian,
I really appreciate it, and I'd like to thank all the people that have been good enough to let me work in their corners. You know, all the boxers, all the fighters and management team and the promoters, and also my family for backing me because I'm not at home a lot. I think that's why the marriage has lasted so long. You know, I'm never there. It's just passing the. But to my wife, Katrina, that she's done everything and been there for me, and so has my children and my grandchildren. They're always supporting me and saying, "I'll see you on the telly, Granddad." You know, so yeah, I'm lucky. I've got a good base behind me.
Yeah, Ian, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for coming on and sharing your story with us.
My pleasure.
Hopefully, we'll do this again in the next. I don't know, whenever you fancy it. Whenever you got some good news.
I might see you on the 29th. We'll go for a coffee and have a yarn.
100%. I look forward to
get onto them audio books. You'll enjoy them.
100%. Give me some to listen to. Give the audience some ones to listen to. Which one do you reckon?
Tyson Fury's are both good.
Fury, yeah.
Steve Bunt's big, short, fat stories all about years gone by.
Yeah.
And Barry Hearn's book's good.
There we go.
I won't give you any of the mafia or the football violence. Just give you the box.
Those for now is amazing. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your time. God bless you.